here's and remember that your body has to reconnect, and so whatever squats are things you were doing before surgery, you're going to have to reconnect. You're going to have to reintroduce, like, hey, these are my new hips, and your body's just not going to respond as well. So a good squat, RDL, any of those, you want it's all based on a hip hinge. So you're going to step hip distance apart. You want those toes displayed. Some really good weight in that big toe. So remember, those of you, I went back to running, so 80% of your balance when you're running is on your big toe. So, you know, you go from the bilateral toe yoga series, and then you go progress into the single leg. You're not going to be able to do that too much in this phase. It's going to be really weak, and you can try maybe for a few, but the single leg, the more single leg movements is where you want to progress to. So with the hip hinge, remember that you take it. Same thing with the first video. Your head is sitting on top of your scapula on top of your pelvis. So you want to keep that position, and you want to move your hips back. So you're going to feel right here in the middle of your sit bones, you want to feel the glutes take over first. And that's also trying to get a neutral spine. Remember that sway back, anterior tilt, you want to keep that more neutral. And you're bringing your hips back, and it's almost like you're bringing your tailbone this way and your head is going this way, like you're stretching out. This is the foundation for great squats. So you're getting glute control, and then you're going to get some quads as well. Putting down those big toes, you're going to also get some calf and hamstring. So this is the basis for it. It's almost like you're in a skiing position. And I know before my PAOs, I could not get in this position. It would pinch, and there was just no way I could do it. So doing any deep squats was never part of my history. Now, being able to do a deep squat is, it's phenomenal and life-changing. So my squats before my PAOs looked a lot different. So post-PAO, so this is a good time, week 7 through 12, to start with this good position. You're not going to want to go much deeper than this. It's not going to feel comfortable, and this is not necessary. There's no need to speed up this process. Your body is going to recover. It has its own time frame. As much as we want to get back into sports quicker, listen to your bodies. So here's that good hip hinge where you're really coming back. You really, tailbone is going this way, head is going this way, and my glutes are on fire right now. A little bit of quad, putting the big toe down to get a little bit more hamstring. So this is where squats begin, in this hip hinge position, and then you're pushing your hips forward, using your abdominals and your breath control to come all the way up. Let me turn on this side. So I like wide base of support, big toe down, toes are splayed, shoulders, your head is stacked on top of your shoulder blades. You're trying to get a neutral position in your pelvis. You're leaning forward where your tailbone is going this way, your head is going that way, and then you don't want your knees in. You want knees facing out, like you're on a saddle riding horses. And here is where your squats begin, in this nice hip hinge position, and then you're coming up. You can add weight to that. I like to use a trap bar, but you start with a kettlebell, very nice, something that's comfortable. Remember that form is the most important thing about any exercises, is your form and technique. So you're coming down, taking your breath in, and you really want to keep this flat. You don't want this, you want this straight as much as possible, and then you're coming up. You're sitting down, and then you're coming up. So the hips are driving this movement. So try to think hips drive. The hips are driving any of our movements for exercise and functional mobility. Base of support is right here, and our pubic symphysis, our center of gravity. So the hips control, they're just driving all of our movements. So think hips going back, hips going forward and straight, hips going back, and then hips going forward and straight. Okay, don't worry about anything deep. You just want to be able to feel which muscle groups are working. It took a long time for this to come back for me, especially after all 5 surgeries. So that's your squats. I also like sumo squats, and they were a little bit easier. So sumo is just, or going from my days in dance, you just coming back down and then back up. This actually felt better post PAO than a regular squat because there was less pinching at the hip flexor, and just coming down as far as you can and then coming back up. Again, pay attention, be mindful of your big toes, your pelvis, and your breath work. Remember that your breath work helps engage that abdominal cavity. Okay.